Hey, before we get started on the show today, real quick, I just wanted to thank everyone for listening. We are still less than 15 episodes, less than 20 episodes into our podcast. Just want to thank you for listening. That one listener that listens to us, this is for you. If you don't mind, we're trying to grow the show organically. So what does that mean? It means go out and share the show whenever you listen to it. Whatever podcast platform you listen on, share it on your social. Share it on Facebook. Share it with your friends, your family. That way we'll grow the show organically, and then we'll see what happens from there. So let's get started. Hello, my conspiracy nuts, and you know exactly who you are. This is Byron Dies. You're listening to Let's Get to the Bottom of That podcast, probably the best, worst show on the internet, where each week I'm joined by Mike and Jason, and we will cover a topic that's been left out in the public square unattended and covered with questions from the official story. Today is episode 15. The Earth, is it flat or is it a globe? So if you're a critical free thinker, get your tinfoil hats on, sit back and relax, and let's get to the bottom of that. Dice Man Enterprises exclusively presents a talk show that will get to the bottom of things once and for all. And now here's your host for Let's Get to the Bottom of That, three weirdos on a mic. Welcome back to Let's Get to the Bottom of That. I'm your host, Byron Dies. I'm joined by Mike and Jason in studio.
What's up, everyone?
Hello, hello.
Well, guys, I feel like I'm on a spinning globe, or am I on a spinning plate?
I don't know.
That is the question.
Yeah.
Today is Flat Earth. You know, when we started the show, the trailer shows, I said Sasquatch. 9/11,
Flat
the
Earth.
moon landing, flat Earth. So every one of those topics that I said in the intro, we're hitting.
Covered.
We've hit every one now, right?
I think so. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Our show's doing pretty well. We're a little over 500 plays so far. Our next milestone is 1,000 plays. So, like I said in the intro, go to our Instagram account, and the link in the bio, you can find wherever you want to follow us: Facebook, Twitter, our website, bottomofthat.com. You can contact us by dropping an email, truth@bottomofthat.com. And if you just want to leave a comment and let us know, hey, I want you to do a show about Larry the Cucumber and why no one has eaten him yet on the show. If you want us to cover that, leave a comment on our website. We'll get back to you on that.
Right on.
Oh, I found a new sound. I don't know if y'all appreciate this. That's out there now. So, everybody, Mike Jones.
Thanks for that.
Oh, yeah. I just said your last name. Should I cut that out?
No, that's fine.
Okay.
You know how
Jason.
many Mike
Generic.
Joneses
We'll
there
just
are?
do. I'll do what?
You know how many Mike Joneses there are?
Yeah, you can't be one of those.
There's millions of us.
It's just like John Smith.
Yeah.
Yeah. How many Byron Dices?
Not many.
Not many. So I'm a target.
Yeah. According to Wolfram Alpha,
Hey,
I have the 5th most common first name and the 3rd most common surname.
Wow.
What?
Yeah. Yep.
I won't even talk about Jason's last name because
Yeah.
that's probably the 50th.
Who
Who has that one? Is that out there a lot?
There's some famous people
Quite a
with
bit.
that
Yeah,
name.
quite a bit.
Anyway, let's do a time and temperature check. It's 29 degrees right now outside.
Burr.
It is 12:26 on a Saturday. It is. I'm going to go ahead. It's December 17th. It's almost Christmas time, guys. Even though y'all will probably be hearing this published after Christmas, but Merry Christmas to everybody that cares about Christmas and the birth of Jesus. So
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. So that's time and temperature check. Today's show is one of probably the biggest two camps, I would say, in conspiracy theory camps: flat Earth or globe.
Yep.
I'm not sure. I'll go ahead and pull up what I have, where this came from. And if you guys got any information on anything else, the flat Earth model is an archaic. I like the way they threw that in there, and I'm reading this from Wikipedia.
Because this used to be what every society believed.
Right. I remember that in school. They used to teach. This is what they used to think, and this is how they disproved it.
Right.
Archaic and scientifically disproven concept of the Earth shaped as a plane or a disc. Many ancient cultures subscribe to the flat Earth cosmography. Messed that one up, including Greece. I don't know what that means. Yeah. I like how I just roll with it. I don't even care.
Just go right by it, dude.
Including Greece, the classical period, 5th century, the Bronze and the Iron Age civilizations, of the Near East until the Hellenistic period, and China until the 17th century. The Chinese, it probably is flat because of them.
Started with the Chinese.
The idea of a spherical. Is it sphere or spear?
Sphere.
I like saying sphere. Throw me that sphere.
It's going to be a rough one.
It appeared in ancient Greek philosophy with Pythagoras.
I think you nailed that one.
Nailed it. However, the pre-Socrates retained the flat earth model in the 4th century BC. Plato wrote about a spherical earth. By about 330 BC, his former student Aristotle, dude, we're going back to the originals here, provided strong empirical evidence for a spherical earth. Knowledge of Earth's global shape gradually began to spread beyond the Hellenistic world. By early period of the Christian church, the spherical, it's going to be a great show. The spherical view was widely held with some notable exception. It is a historical myth or modern misconception that medieval Europeans generally thought the earth was flat. This myth was created in the 17th century by Protestants to argue against Catholic teachings, despite the scientific fact and obvious defects of the earth's spherical boy, they love writing this stuff. Pseudo-scientific flat earth conspiracy theories are espoused by modern flat earth societies and increasingly by unaffiliated individuals using social media.
Wow.
That's off the Wikipedia page. So that should explain kind of where we are on flat earth.
Okay.
I'll go ahead and say I believe we live on a globe. Now, that's me. So the name of the show is Let's Get to the Bottom of That. I think we live on a globe based on the scientific evidence that has been presented to me.
Right.
Now, I know Eric Dubé. Is it Dubé?
Dubé
has, he's very passionate. And if he was on the show right now, he'd probably be cussing us out.
Uh-oh.
I don't think so. He's probably a nice guy, but he's very passionate, and he thinks that people that come to this conclusion are not as smart.
Right, or
they're
sheep.
They're not smart. Now, I do believe that we are all critical free thinkers around this table here.
Yeah.
And we don't take things at face value most of the time. We like to question things. However, if you've brought to me some scientific evidence, even though I have not been out in space and actually seen a globe and took video of it, I can't prove it that way, but I can give you my opinion that I am on a globe because of scientific evidence that has been given to me.
Right. Very cordially as well. You know, we're not gonna bash people that believe in flat Earth, even if we believe something different. Because
correct. If you believe,
because they could very well be our ally on a number of other conspiratorial topics that we discuss. We might just not see to eye to
like
eye.
Bigfoot.
Yeah. All these things that we discussed prior.
Birds.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
Birds will glitch. You saw that video, right?
I saw that.
Yeah.
Yep. So
birds are glitching. They're just frozen there.
Did you see the video? Did you?
I have seen that video. Yeah.
Wow.
And he touched it with a broom and it took off.
That was weird.
It's a drone.
Yeah, I'd like to see
Drone
an explanation
strikes.
about
This
what
is
that
Matrix,
was.
man.
Yeah,
We're
was
in
that a
Matrix.
camera trick? What was that?
I don't know. But it's
I've
weird.
never
that
seen that.
It's just floating in there and somebody hits it with a broom and takes off.
Yep. And I've had a parakeet. My pet parakeet was for sure like a real bird.
It was? You felt its heartbeat?
Yes.
And all that? Okay.
Very fast heartbeat.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's the strangest thing. I had a bird and
No heartbeat at all.
no heartbeat.
I got a bird.
It crashed into the wall, and then there was just
Yeah.
like wires and stuff hanging out of it.
Stuffed them.
And there was a little bitty camera in its eye. Hello?
Kept on looking at me weird.
Yeah. So I think everybody here, what is your stance, Jason,
I think it's a globe.
on
Yeah.
the globe?
No, I don't think I know it's a globe. I don't think I know it's a globe.
And how did you come to this hypothesis, this theoretical?
I have been to the ocean and I've seen ships that sail out to sea.
Yeah.
And the horizon, they don't get smaller. They disappear and they sink into the ocean.
Okay.
So you can't see the bottom of the ship
Right.
as
Yeah,
the
and it's-
bottom disappears.
Right.
Okay.
That's
seen that
one
as
of the.
well.
So I'm on a website here, 7 ways to prove the Earth is round. That's the number one.
Yeah.
Watch a ship sail off to sea. Now, do
Mhm.
you have any evidence that flat earthers state that that's why we see that? Is there a reason that they can get around that?
So I'm familiar with some of the arguments that kind of touch on that point. Have you guys heard of the Bedford level experiments?
No.
So
Do tell.
Yeah, I'll talk about the Bedford level experiments here. So this took place in like 1838, and it was conducted by Samuel Burley Robotham. And
strong name.
Basically, what it was, there were several different experiments that he did, but what he was doing basically is he had like a friend of his sail down a river in a boat, and he was just looking at it the whole time with a telescope.
Okay,
and he was able to see the entire ship for like 6 or 7 miles, which, according to based off of the curvature of the Earth, you wouldn't be able to do that, right? It shouldn't.
Still see it 7 miles away?
See the entire thing.
Okay.
Yep. So that's like basically his evidence that, that the Earth is flat.
No, so he saw the whole ship 7 miles away.
Yeah.
Now, you're talking about in the ocean.
Yep.
Is 7 miles away? Are you able to see that ship?
I don't know.
You'd still be able to see it, but you wouldn't be able to see the bottom.
Yeah. And he could.
And there's an explanation on why he might have been able to see that.
All right.
So it's called atmospheric refraction. Okay. So if the measurement is close enough to the surface, I guess because the density of the air in the Earth's atmosphere decreases with the height above the Earth's surface. We know that, right? The air gets thinner.
Okay.
All light rays traveling nearly horizontally bend downward so that the line of sight is a curve. And this phenomenon is routinely accounted for in leveling and celestial navigation. So what this means is basically if the measurement is close enough to the surface, this downward curve may match the mean curvature of the Earth's surface, and in this case, the two effects of assumed curvature and refraction could cancel each other out, giving the perception that the Earth would appear flat.
Science.
My head hurts.
Yeah, so that is why he was able, he's at ground level with the telescope, and he's able to see, his buddy sailing away in a ship, and he's seeing the bottom of the ship, the top of the ship, the whole thing. It's not disappearing over the horizon.
Yeah.
The way that a lot of people witness these days when a ship sails off, the bottom starts disappearing, and it looks like it's, going over the ball.
Yeah. And then finally the mast or the sails will finally dip down.
Yeah, that'll be the last part that disappears. So that is the Bedford level experiment, which, took place back in the early 1800s.
1800s? What now? How far? What were they sailing on?
It was a river.
A river.
But yeah, there was.
What's the difference in a river? I know the river and an ocean, but how? I mean,
what do you mean? What's the difference between?
Well, I know the difference. Rivers flow from mountains. Because it's going down and it flows into an ocean. I know.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know why I said that. No, what I'm saying is, what river was it? And is there rivers that don't crooked? Can you see 6 miles down a straight river? Is that a thing?
I don't know.
Well,
because they're always winding.
Maybe in the Amazon? Maybe the Nile?
Denial, the dad joke.
It was the Old Bedford River in Cambridgeshire, UK.
Oh.
Yep.
See?
I knew it.
Yep.
I got to look that up.
Old Bedford River.
Dried up now.
Yeah, denial.
And it is an artificial partial diversion of the waters of the River Great Ouse.
Dude, that looks like just like some kind of channel in somebody's farmland.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like a river.
It's not a river. It's a creek.
Yep.
It looks like an irrigation thing somebody dug up.
But apparently,
anyway,
a 6 mile stretch of this, so 9.7 kilometers is what they would use in the UK.
So that was it. It was straight line. Okay, gotcha.
And then there were several other things he did as well, but that was like what started it all. And
that was in the 1800s?
Yeah.
When did they, let's see, wait a minute. Because they started, so let me go back to my Wikipedia here. We're talking about 4th century BC, and they were talking about, hey, the earth is round.
Mm-hmm.
And then he came along and was like disputing it.
Well, so I read
in the 1800s. This is later.
I read this past week that one of the things the flat earthers like to look at back in history is like Egyptian drawings and like Mesopotamian art that depict the earth as flat. So I think Mesopotamia goes way, 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 way back prior to Aristotle, Plato, and so forth. So
I think
flat Earth. People thought it was flat, and then Aristotle was like, "Oh no, it's round.
I think based on like if you're going back to the Egyptians and they're drawing that stuff, that's all they got to go on.
Yeah.
Of course, I think it's flat.
Mm-hmm.
If that's all my world was encompassed, you know what I'm saying?
Then they build a 3D pyramid.
Yeah.
Strange.
Yeah. How do you do that?
Aliens.
How
Ancient
do you do
aliens.
what?
Build a pyramid. If you think the Earth's flat,
Then they're like,
Well, you can build
look, he's like, where's Byron's connecting dots
You
here?
can build something on top of the flat Earth.
You can.
Mm-hmm.
What about?
well, I guess why would they think that the Earth is flat, and yet, hey, let's go build a 3D pyramid.
Oh,
on the backs of Hebrew slaves?
Yeah,
yeah.
but you know what? This isn't. We're not on a globe.
Yeah. Well, I think all the
Just
drawings. I don't think they could. I don't think they could draw circles back then.
No,
So
they couldn't. They couldn't turn. They couldn't turn left.
I don't
could
think
only
they
go
knew.
right.
I don't think they would know how to draw a globe. You know what I'm saying? Everything was flat.
They couldn't turn left. They just
Yeah.
kept on going right. It's from
Um.
Zoolander. That's it.
Oh, I missed that. Sorry.
One of the big arguments that you'll hear in a lot of like Eric Dubé videos and another proponents of the flat Earth
Yeah.
model is that bodies of water always seek and find their own level.
Seek and find their own level. How does that work?
So this is an observable fact. You
Okay.
know? So with that in mind, how would Earth's bodies of water curve along with the
Yes.
shape of the Earth? That is like that's one of their major tenets that
I can
hear.
disprove that.
Good.
You ready?
Yes,
Have you ever seen a water droplet on a leaf?
I have seen a water.
It
droplet.
curves.
They would argue that that's just surface tension.
Well,
But-
we're on the surface of a rock.
I know you could say like, couldn't that also be happening with the oceans? But
I mean, so don't say water can't curve when it can.
it can.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's my point.
Yeah, and it depends. So like, they argue that water always needs a container, which I agree with.
Yeah.
So
like in this coffee cup, you get it.
so take the spherical model of the Earth, right? It's a globe. Let's say you have a giant vacuum cleaner that sucks out all the Earth's oceans.
Dude, that would be amazing.
It would look like an apple with like a big bite out of it.
Sure.
Right? So that is the container for the water.
Yeah.
It would be like a gigantic crater.
Would that be amazing if all the water was gone?
Yeah, like the Grand Canyon.
And you could just walk down there?
I don't think we'd last very long.
I know we wouldn't, but I just visually think about that because what percentage of the planet is water?
70.
70%. I mean, that's amazing. Like all that water gone.
Yeah.
You just got this dry crust.
Yeah.
Yeah, 70% water, 20%
I think-
land, and 10% plastic.
Mm-hmm.
And what about
Yeah.
humans?
I don't know.
We're obsolete. No, I think it would solve a lot of mysteries.
It would. I mean, especially if all the animals stayed there. Like if you saw like,
We'd solve ships
if you,
from Bermuda Triangle at the
you'd
bottom.
see all those there. You'd see, if there are any sea monsters or whatever.
Right. They'd be laying on the bottom.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, I'm sorry to get off topic. I found off the coast of, dang it, it's in the Bermuda Triangle. It's off the coast of one of those islands. I zoomed in. I saw a YouTuber and I went and did it myself. And you can see a silhouette of an airplane underwater.
Oh,
off
that's
this
interesting.
coast. Yeah.
Wow.
I'll have to show you after the show.
Yeah,
Anyway, I don't know why I thought of that.
Yeah, that's wild.
Water.
It's
and-
like that one plane I showed you guys on that Air Force base
yes.
that has the camouflage.
Yes.
Yes.
That was trippy.
That was trippy.
I wonder if that's like active camo that it like had itself, or if that was like something that Google Earth did.
Oh,
To
interesting.
cover up like a secret project
Yeah,
that they
yeah.
shouldn't have showed.
And they're just putting that overlay on the
Yeah, I have
screen.
no idea.
I got a friend. This is way off. I got a friend from Alabama on Google Earth. You could go to his address, the Street View, and his dog is out front taking a dump
That's awesome. That's
Wow.
perfect timing.
right there on Google Earth.
That's perfect.
It was amazing. Anyway,
So yeah, back to flat Earth.
Yes.
So back to these bodies of water always seeking and finding their own level. So we kind of just talked about how the Earth, if you sucked out all the water, there would be a crater there that would serve as the water's container.
yes.
So the argument now is, how is the water curving? And would you argue that gravity could explain that?
Absolutely.
Because gravity is, when we think of down on a spherical model, down is always towards
The center.
the center of the Earth.
Okay.
So that gravity is always acting,
Pulling.
pulling down. Even if you're in Australia, it's like pulling down towards the center of the Earth.
Yeah. Doesn't matter where you are on the globe.
Doesn't matter.
You're going to that center,
Right.
and
Yep.
that's how the water's being able to be contained.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I don't know how it's so hard for people to understand that.
Yes.
That's tough for me.
It is, though. Yeah, a lot of people.
Well, since you're saying that, what about gravity? Is there they don't believe in gravity?
No.
What? How are we here?
So this is one of the arguments that flat Earth proponents make.
Okay.
And I might use the term flat earther. I don't mean it in like a pejorative way.
Right. We don't mean
know,
to disrespect.
I know some people do think that that's pejorative, but it's for the sake of brevity because flat Earth proponent is kind of like a mouthful.
Using a lot of big words right now.
He's so smart.
Yeah. No.
Smartest guy on their show.
He is the smartest guy on the show.
I don't know about that.
And he's so handsome. Oh my god.
Oh boy. Yep.
So okay, brevity. Go ahead.
Okay. Where were we?
The flat Earth.
Wait,
Yeah.
you're talking about gravity, how they don't believe it.
So we're talking about gravity, right? So how can we be sure that gravity exists?
Well, Sir Isaac Newton was the one that come up with this theory when the apple fell on his head.
Yep.
Unless that's a big bunk of bull they fed me in high school. I mean, when I was in elementary school.
So they would argue that that is just because of density, not gravity.
Density. Explain.
Yeah. So the apple is more dense than the medium that it fell through. So as long as something is more dense than whatever the medium surrounding it is, it will fall through it. But I mean, if you think of it that way, think about Einstein's theory of general relativity. So the basic idea of that is that instead of being an invisible force that attracts objects to one another, gravity is actually just the curving and warping of space.
Yeah.
So the more massive an object is, the more it warps the space around it. And this is the current commonly held belief in the physics world. Mm-hmm. You know, it's been tested a lot and seems to hold up. I don't think it's necessarily 100% complete, which is why it's still just a theory and not a law. But that doesn't mean that what they're saying is not
relativity?
True. Yeah, the theory of general relativity.
Still theory.
Yes. So there's still some unexplained things, but like if you watch like, you know, modern pop culture movies and stuff like Interstellar, I believe they were on like a planet or something where there was like a wall of water because there was like a gigantic like planet or moon that was right there that was pulling the water towards it. And then the planet was rotating underneath it. So it looked like a big wave, but actually the water was just standing up because of that gravitation.
And you're moving toward it.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yep.
I didn't either.
Do you remember that? You know, that scene?
Well, yeah, I remember that. Yeah, that was Edmund's planet.
Yep.
Did they explain that?
Yes.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Well,
all in my head. You just watched it recently. That's why.
I've watched that thing so many times.
It's a good movie.
Yeah, it's really good.
It is.
Yeah.
It makes you think.
Yep. And so yeah, and then there's also something called LIGO, LIGO, which is a gravitational wave observatory. This is something that happened recently. So like Einstein theorized that like gravity moves in waves, and this has actually been able to measure gravitational waves. This happened in like 2016, I think, for the first time. They witnessed gravitational waves in some way with their instrumentation. They were able to observe that.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
So that does lend a lot of credence to like these theories of like general relativity and the discussion of gravity.
Oh, it's another thing. We were talking about lasers before the show started.
Yeah.
I watched this show. I think it was on Netflix. They were talking about gravity and physics and stuff, and they were given a demonstration of how gravity works. And so they shot a laser from here to the moon, right? And
they saw it hit the surface?
And they timed it. They timed from when it shot and when it hit the surface and then came back.
What?
Yeah, so they shot a laser and then they had an instrument on there that satellite that shot it back. That was close to the moon. Mm-hmm. And they saw that the time that it took to get there, it stretched the wavelength of the laser, and how gravity affects the laser and light, and for different objects. And
yeah,
it went up there for a certain amount of speed and then came back a lot faster because of gravity pulling it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, gotcha. So going there, gravity was pulling on it, so right. Coming back, it's like okay, that's cool.
Yep.
Oh, I don't know. Did you mention this before the show or during the show about the laser
before?
Well, yeah. Go ahead and talk about that because that's very interesting. Because if you can hit a laser on the moon, why can't we go
If it was flat.
in the UK and hit Big Ben, the clock.
Yeah.
From here.
Yeah.
If there
From
wasn't
where we are right now?
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
If there wasn't a curve.
Right. Yeah.
We should be able to hit it.
We should.
You couldn't.
Huh?
But you couldn't.
No.
No, why?
Because we're on a globe.
I thought you were going to give some mathematical equation of gravity. So yeah, everything's gravity pulling us to the center of the earth.
So
And we've done tests like
Right.
like we see free fall, how items fall the same rate of speed to the ground. Like if you put it in a vacuum, it makes no difference. Like the feather is going to fall the same speed as a bowling ball, no matter what the weight, because of gravity.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
As long as there's no resistance.
No resistance.
Yeah.
Right.
Um,
So how do they get around that? Because their whole thing is density.
density, right? Yeah. So I think if you drop a feather in a bowling ball, the bowling ball will go faster because the feather will, it's got the resistance.
Well, if it's not in a vacuum.
Yeah. So,
That's weird, isn't it?
yeah. And while we're on the topic of gravity, like a point that gets brought up a lot is like, how is gravity so strong that it can hold all the oceans in place, but yet birds can still fly, and you're not being crushed down to the surface?
I got this one. You ready?
Go ahead.
Well, when you have a force like gravity, you can't overcome gravity unless you use a force that is beyond it. So, for instance, that's how birds work. Is
And
airplane?
planes.
Yeah.
It's called thrust and lift.
Yeah.
Those supersede gravity. That's how you're able to get off. Thrust and lift.
Physics. Wow.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's physics. So that's why a bird can fly around, and there's no thrust and lift with oceans.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's just water going around in a basin.
Yeah. And the more massive an object, the more it warps the space around it. So a massive ocean,
Yeah.
that's going to be getting played on by gravity a lot more than a bird.
Exactly.
Yep.
Okay.
Or a drone.
I think we're onto something
Or
now.
a drone. Yep.
Yeah, birds aren't real. Yeah, that's good.
So, and we brought up the moon a couple minutes ago. Jason brought up the moon, which is, I think, a great argument against flat Earth. Okay. So, the moon, we're always seeing the same face of the moon. The moon doesn't rotate.
Right.
And the reason for that is because it's tidally locked with the Earth. It plays with the Earth's tides and all these things. So let's say, for example, like this table is like the planar flat Earth.
Okay.
And the moon is right here.
Okay.
You're over there. Jason's over there. I'm over here. If the moon is up here, how can we all see the same face of the moon at the same time? It doesn't make any sense.
Well, we shouldn't be able to.
Unless the moon is flat.
Unless the moon is flat. But if the moon is flat, like a spotlight,
Well, I would be seeing the side of the disc.
yeah, then it would change shape. Like if you're right underneath it, it'd be the full circle. But if you're over here, it would kind of be like,
Sure.
a little bit narrower. Same deal there, right? So when everyone on Earth can see the same face of the moon, different orientations of it.
Yeah.
The only way that makes sense is if the Earth is a sphere.
What if?
Okay.
Just hear me out.
Yeah.
What if our governments every night is going up in outer space with a big picture?
Yes.
And when
Come on.
the sun goes down, they just move it along.
They hold up the picture.
They hold up the picture.
Oh boy.
I think that might be it.
That's a good one.
yeah.
I like that theory.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Hey, speaking of theories, you said a few minutes ago that you looked through this large telescope and you saw planets that were balls. Not that didn't come out right. I mean spheres. Should I use spheres? That's not going to trip you up. Go ahead. Wait, that's going to be the clip for next week. This right here will be the clip.
That'll be good.
The 60-second clip on Instagram right here. This will be it. Come on, stay with me. Okay, so you looked at planets, right?
Yeah, I saw some balls in the telescope.
So
Got really close to them.
now listen, were you able to see the moon?
Yeah.
Did you see the flag?
No, I didn't see the flag.
Why can't people see the flag?
It's too far, dude.
What he just said, he saw the moon with this huge telescope.
I saw.
Isn't there a lunar module still?
I saw Jupiter. That was pretty cool. I saw Jupiter.
Regulus.
Oh, that was really awesome. I saw Mars, and I saw the moon because of the way the other planets were positioned. I couldn't.
Now you're saying it's too we can't see that close on the surface.
Yeah, like that level
Okay.
of detail, like we can't get that level of granularity, I don't think, with our current technology.
Could we send a drone to the moon?
Yes.
Why don't we just get a GoPro?
Oh, you mean like a
You're talking like the Mars rover, just
Like a live feed. I want to see the flag. I want to see a live feed.
okay, yeah.
Somebody go Facebook Live. I want to see the flag on the moon.
You could do that.
And that lunar module is supposed to still be there, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I
don't know if it's operational anymore.
I just want to see it.
Yeah.
That'll be proof for me.
Okay.
If somebody did a Facebook Live on the moon.
Yeah.
With a rover. You did it on Mars. Why can't you do it on the moon?
Because everything would have to be there, right? They'd have to make sure they got all the details right. It'd be tough to fake.
Yeah.
You've done it on Mars. The moon's right here.
Mm-hmm.
Just send one.
That's a good question.
Just
Why
send
haven't they
one,
done that yet?
Just send one up. You can disprove everybody's, it'd be easy.
I never thought about that. Why haven't they sent a rover or drone?
You don't have to send a person anymore. You can you can control it from Houston or whatever.
Right. Facebook Live, dude. Come on, Zuckerberg, in your metaverse.
Dude.
Yep. Mind blown.
Yeah.
My mind is blown.
Yeah.
That's why I was asking about the telescope. But
Dude, getting back to flat Earth, so this is something that I want to get your guys' thoughts on.
Okay.
So every time an amateur sends up a weather balloon with a camera mounted up on
right.
it, we see that the Earth is having a completely flat horizon, 360 degrees around the observer, up to 120,000 feet. That's where they send it up. But when NASA does the same thing, the Earth shows like a dramatic curve. What's the deal with that?
Well, they say they're using fisheye lens.
They do. Yeah.
Now, my question is, why are you using a fisheye?
I don't know. Are they trying to accentuate the Earth's curve just to, I don't know, make it look cooler?
I don't know. But I have seen those videos you're talking about, and that does kind of make me wonder, okay, that's a little weird. Mm-hmm. Because I can see the horizon, I can see the camera. Have you seen them in the weather balloons?
Yeah, so I saw that experiment that Red Bull did.
Oh yeah,
did you see that?
The guy who jumped.
Yeah,
I haven't seen that.
I saw the curvature of the Earth.
Was that a fisheye?
Yeah, they say that was a fisheye.
That was a fisheye.
See, every time there's a curve on the lens, they call fisheye.
Sure,
right.
but we said that NASA was using a fisheye for just to make us believe. But why would Red Bull?
Why would they use a fisheye?
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean,
will y'all stop with the fisheye lenses?
NASA might have been involved.
Well, yeah. I mean, it makes sense. Red Bull, NASA.
Yeah, that gives you wings.
Don't they? Oh
my gosh.
There you go.
I mean, think about it. Aren't they wearing a sticker on their patch on their sleeves that says Red Bull?
Yeah, I think so.
When they're in the space shuttle?
Yeah.
No, I don't know. That's very confusing to me.
That was one thing that I didn't I obviously don't know enough about it to really make.
You know what we would have to do? We'd have to do our own experiment to make ourselves feel okay with this.
Uh-huh.
We have to send up our own balloon, our own cameras, and we'd have to know what's the distance. So let's say we go up in that hot air balloon and we have the camera, no fisheye. How far would it have to see before there is the curve? Or is the curve always there? We just can't see it because it dips down.
I'm not sure. In some of those, it also looks like the sun is very, very close. Oh, it's just like right there, which is another flat Earth tenet. They think that the sun is only like 2,000 miles away. So flashback to our moon episode.
2,000.
2,000, so very, very close. So not even the diameter of the United States.
Would that burn us up?
Yes. Yeah. It's actually 93 million miles away.
Yes.
But it looks very close in some of those shots, which is, I think.
What does that mean, though? What does that tell you?
What do you mean?
I mean, it looks that close in those shots. You think that's...
it does look that
they
close.
They doctored the video?
I don't know. It could be like an optical illusion, sort of, because like if the balloon with the camera is coming up over here and it's looking out over the Earth and then the sun is like over there, it could look a lot closer than it actually is.
And didn't we learn that when they take pictures or any video taking outside our atmosphere, it kind of distorts?
Yeah.
Kind of distorts the picture of the
That's
video.
another thing. Yep.
We're talking about... Go ahead and talk amongst yourself. I'm just going to pull up... We've done this before.
What?
Because I've pulled up the International Space Station. It's always live.
Yes, it is always live. So
and it's always a curve.
So
here it is, live stream. It's always live from the space station, ISS.
That's NASA, though, dude.
I know.
And
that's
what I'm saying. I don't know why can't we get them to get a regular? Why are you doing fish lens? Nobody likes a fish lens. I don't know who this guy is.
Right.
Scott Hartman.
So maybe they're not using. So when it comes to like the flat Earth proponents.
And now y'all got this crap? Come on.
What is it?
What is that? Come on. Why do you have to put the lens inside the capsule? Can't you put something outside? That's just...
I don't know what we're looking at right now.
Well, that's the Earth.
Through a window.
Yeah, this is a window inside. There's the space station.
I thought that was a Death Star.
Wait, it is.
It looks like it.
That's no moon.
That's the Death Star.
Wait a minute. Are you telling me is the space station moving? We can't see the movement of the Earth like that, can we?
It's going really fast.
I didn't think we could see that.
I mean, it's pretty fast.
Yeah, you can see that.
You can see the rotation of the Earth from space.
Apparently.
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 By the way, for their listeners, I just went to YouTube, NASA live stream, Earth. It's a live view from the. I mean, this proves it's a globe right here, right?
Yep.
Are we done?
So
Show's over.
the Earth spins roughly 1,000 miles an hour.
Yeah.
So you'd have to get pretty far in orbit to see actually that movement.
Right.
Yep. And some of what you might be seeing there could be like clouds and stuff, kind of like accentuating the speed of it.
Yeah.
Because I think you'd see the movement in the clouds, and that might have been part of what we just saw. But
It says we're over the Indian Ocean right now.
okay. Yeah. So I understand in the flat Earth communities the extreme distrust of NASA. I mean, we kind of did a deep dive on their sort of sketchy history with Werner von Braun and stuff on our movie.
Actually, a lot of our shows have the UFOs.
Yeah.
The moon landing?
Yeah, I think NASA in Hebrew, NASA in Hebrew means to lie greatly.
What?
Yeah.
Are you joking me right now?
No, I'm serious. Yep.
So they came up with an acronym:
Yeah.
National Association Space Aeronautics.
I think it's North American Space Agency or something like that.
So they came up with that, but those letters actually in Hebrew means
to lie greatly.
Wow.
Okay.
Yep.
I think that's the answer.
Yep.
Show's over, guys.
Yeah. So I understand the distrust of NASA, but getting back to the arguments that we see.
Oh, look at this here. This little thing here, it shows where the sun is and the parts of the Earth that are dark. Well, that's a flat Earth right there. What are you talking about? What do you... You see this?
My screen is flat.
So
I see that.
They show where the sun is hitting right now on the Earth.
Yeah. Yep. So we can get into some of that. So here's another question I have for you guys.
Okay.
So this is a flat Earth argument. Why can we see great distances far beyond what we would be able to see if we were on a globe that is 25,000 miles in circumference? For example, if you were in Genoa, Italy, just above sea level on a clear day, it's possible to see the distant islands of Elba, Gorgona, Caprea, and Corsica, which are 80 to 125 miles away. Have you heard this?
No.
Okay.
Now you can see these islands?
You can see these islands. Yes.
Well, you have elevation.
They're just above sea level, so no elevation.
No, I'm saying where I'm standing.
Oh, where you're standing?
Yeah, where I can see them at. I'm above them.
No. So these
I'm below sea level?
No, you're like right at sea level, and so are they.
Okay.
Yep. So the reason for that is, once again, it has to be like ideal conditions. You can't always see this.
Right.
It has to be a clear day, and then the sun will be coming up over the horizon where the islands are. So behind Elba, Gorgona, Caprea, and Corsica, it will create light refraction, which will basically let you see their image over the curve of the Earth. That's what people say when because this is a common example that's brought up.
So they're saying it's flat because I can see this because it's flat. But the other argument is, no, the sun's coming up and it's a fractal thing.
Right.
And I can see these things actually over the curve of the Earth.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it tracks with me just because, I mean, what we see isn't always what is real. I mean,
light refraction, yeah, they've
And
demonstrated this a lot in different experiments and stuff, and it's the same, explanation of what happened with the Bedford level experiments.
yeah, isn't it the same concept when you see a mirage?
Yes.
Yeah, and like when you see the heat.
Oh, you talking about on the road? You see it up there and you see, it looks like
Exactly.
water.
Yeah,
Exactly.
That's the same concept.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's, I mean,
Never
that
could
sounds
get
plausible.
that water.
Yeah, I'm always chasing it.
So let me argue against flat Earth here for a second.
Okay, go ahead.
So why can you not see Polaris, the North Star, from the southern hemisphere? And why can you not see the Southern Cross, which is a constellation, from the northern hemisphere? Because you would have to look through the ball in order to see it. But if you're on a flat plane, you should be able to see anything.
Right.
Have you heard this?
No.
Astronomy.
Okay. Yep. That's one of the big arguments against flat Earth. So
some of these constellations, I should be able to see all of them.
Mm-hmm. If it were a flat plane, like a coin-shaped Earth that we were on, you should be able
I could look up and see all of these at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And another.
But I can't.
Yeah.
You cannot.
But what's their argument of why can't I?
There's not really a good argument that I heard, a good counter-argument.
Like the nautical navigation rebuttals that people that are on the side of the globe, theory. I mean, you can't. There's no rebuttal for it because all the ships from, I don't know, the dawn of time, have used stars
to navigate.
To navigate, and they still do.
Yeah.
They know where they are on the planet based on what they can see in the sky.
Exactly. And if it was flat, then
they can see all of them.
And it wouldn't be changing all the time, but it changes all the time.
Right.
So
the night sky changes all the time. That's correct.
Yep. So yeah.
Here we go.
Do you have any more?
I have a bunch of stuff, but let's go through some of your stuff.
Well, I was just going to say, I was going to go through 7 ways to prove. Like we already talked about, watch a ship sail off.
Okay.
Watch a lunar eclipse. You can see the curve of the Earth go in front of the moon. So it's a ball.
Yep.
Climb a tree.
Okay. What does that mean?
Imagine a vast plain, but one tree smack in the middle. If the Earth were flat, your vision would extend exactly as far while standing at the base of the tree as it would if you were standing on top of the tree. However, the farther you climb, the farther the line of sight will extend to the horizon. Get it? So if I'm at the base, I can see here. But if I start going up, my horizon is going to extend the further I go up.
Why wouldn't it on a flat Earth, though? I didn't understand their argument on why that wouldn't happen.
I don't know. This is to prove that it's round.
Oh.
You just proved that it's round with your argument.
I don't know what this means. Travel through or even within different time zones.
Okay.
According to 2008 paper, the curvature of the Earth becomes somewhat visible at an elevation. Thank you. Of 35,000 feet with a less than 60-degree field of view and more easily visible at an elevation of 50,000 feet. So if you're on the right commercial flight, you might be able to see the curvature of the Earth with your own 2 eyes.
Okay. I've heard the flat Earth rebuttal against this point.
Okay. What do you got?
They will argue that you are looking through a convex airplane window that is distorting the...
Not the fisheye.
Yeah, so it's like flat on one part, and then it's kind of like bubbled on the side.
And they did that on purpose.
So that will create...
So they could trick everybody in the plane.
So that will create the... I don't know if that was the original intention, but that's the outcome. So yeah, the windows are creating an optical illusion.
I gotcha. Number 5, watch a sunset. Pick a nice spot where you can watch a sunset. We'll call this point A. Ideally, you'd have a clear horizon in front of you, and behind you would be some sort of elevated point where you can quickly assess, like a hill or a building with at least 2 floors. Or perhaps the aforementioned, we mentioned earlier, tree. We'll call this point B. Watch the sunset from point A, and once the sun is out of sight, hurry over to point B. With the added elevation provided by point B, you should be able to see the sun above the horizon. If the Earth were flat, the sun would not be visible at any elevation once it had set. Because the Earth is round, the sun will come back into your line of sight the higher you go.
Okay.
So if it was flat, you wouldn't be able to do that.
Yeah.
But you can do it.
I think like a lot of the stuff that we hear from the flat Earth side of the argument is, they're picking at gravity and, water not being level and stuff like that, but they're also opening up like another can of worms with like tricky explanations. And I think explaining the seasons and explaining night and day is very difficult on the flat Earth model.
I think so.
The seasons
Seasons is a
especially.
big one. Yeah,
Yeah.
seasons is a big one.
I think the seasons really kind of destroys flat Earth for me. Have you heard?
Yeah, I have, because I looked at the model, and they show where the sun is supposed to move
Yep.
around the flatness, around the disk, and that's how the changing of the seasons happen.
And it starts out going really fast and then it ends up going really slow.
Yeah,
So let me read a paragraph here just so we're correct here. So
right.
this explains the seasons in the flat Earth model. So each year the sun begins its journey at the Tropic of Capricorn at the winter solstice, where it makes its fastest and largest circle over the Earth. For the next 3 months, the sun slightly narrows its path and slows its speed until by the spring equinox, the sun has spiraled its way from the Tropic of Capricorn to the equator. Then for the next 3 months again, the sun continues to slow its speed and narrow its path until the summer solstice, when the sun makes its smallest and slowest circle at the Tropic of Cancer. And then from that point, it kind of just starts like unspiraling, going back the same way it came and getting faster as it goes out.
That's wow.
The sun is constantly changing its acceleration.
And then going in reverse.
Yes. So it's bizarre.
Have you seen their model of how we look in space?
How
That we're going like a corkscrew around the sun.
how the ball Earth is doing?
No, the flat Earth.
Oh, I've seen some of that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really strange where they
Just you ever seen like a whirlpool?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That should do it for you. If it was flat, the Earth was flat, it wouldn't be doing that. It wouldn't make the
that little circle thing.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I didn't come across
Are
that.
you talking about when you flush your toilet?
Yeah. Or if you
What's that whole thing where the toilet goes the other way around?
Yeah, depending on the hemisphere you're on, it'll go different.
Yeah.
I've heard that.
Have you seen it?
I've never actually been in the southern hemisphere.
Really?
Never, no. I've never been down to the equator. I've only been in the northern. Have you?
Yeah, I have.
I
When I was in the Navy,
I
I
haven't.
crossed the equator.
No, I haven't.
Yeah. 90% of Earth's population is in the north hemisphere, just the way it
Yeah.
works out. Because all of China, all of India, all of Russia, all the United States is up here. I can't.
Yeah.
Where does the equator hit in South America?
I think it's in
It's like-
Central America somewhere.
Is
right?
it Central
I
America?
Yeah.
believe so. I can check.
Google Earth.
Nicaragua?
Yeah, we get a badge when we go when we cross the equator in the Navy. If you're on a
really?
ship, yeah, you get
That's
this
nice.
badge. And we went to Antarctica. So, I'm sorry, no. Went to the Arctic.
Oh.
That's the difference. You get a badge when you go to the Arctic too.
So they're the ones that started this whole getting a medal for nothing thing?
Exactly.
Yeah.
All I can do is put it in a shadow box and put it on a wall. I get no 5-cent cup of coffee. Nothing. Here, while Mike's looking that up, another one is, and this is a great diagram. I'm going to show you this. This was talking about the curvature of the Earth, like the point of view. The higher you climb, like this tree here, see this? We have the same view. If we're flat, if I'm up here, I see the tree. But for the same distance apart, if I'm higher, I should be able to see the tree on a round Earth. Where if this guy is below me, he should not, because the tree's going to be out of his field of view.
Okay.
So the higher elevation, the same distance, a flat Earth, you would be able to see the tree. But if I'm higher, I can see a tree that you can't see.
Okay.
Why? Because it's over the curve.
That makes sense. Yep. And here's where the
Okay,
equator
there it
goes.
is.
So yeah, it looks like I was wrong about the Central
Hey,
America.
look, it's flat.
yeah. So it's cutting.
Screens
through,
are flat.
Looks like it's cutting through Brazil. What is this? Is this Argentina? Bolivia. Yep.
Oh, Bolivia. See, that's why I'm so hot down there.
And then I think this is the Congo.
The cocaine plants.
Yep. I think
And then
this
what's
is
that over
Bolivia.
there with the
This right here.
yeah, is that Japan?
Taiwan.
That's like the Philippines
Thailand.
and New Zealand, I think, somewhere.
No, New Zealand.
Why are we
Okay.
talking about this?
This is just where the equator
We
goes.
don't know where anything on this map is.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's interesting.
I know all the world things that I see, it's all labeled, dude. So
I
when
know.
they took the labels off, it screwed with me. So yeah, that argument makes sense. So another thing that I really put against the flat Earth argument is they don't really offer a map that really makes sense. So like the maps that you're going to see on, flat earth videos and websites is like actually an equidistant projection of the globe represented in 2 dimensions. So when you see that, things get really heavily distorted in like the southern hemispheres. So like I will show these guys here just like an example of what I'm talking about. So this is actually just like an equidistant representation of the globe. And you can see like the further out you go, the southern hemisphere kind of becomes like problematic. You see how like distorted South America looks and how distorted like Australia looks. And it brings up the interesting scenario of if you are to take a plane from Santiago, Chile to Sydney, Australia, this would be
a lot longer flight.
It would be going over North America, and that's like the most direct way to make it. But the way that they actually do it is they fly this way, which on a ball Earth makes sense because it doesn't look like this. Right. It doesn't look way further than the direct line. It's actually the shortest way. But here, you would have to fly directly over North America and in order for it to make sense.
Right.
There's no reason why you would fly.
Yeah, why would you go around that way?
There's no reason for you to do that on a flight.
I mean, you just cut 5 hours out of your flight.
Yeah.
Or going straight.
Yeah, if you fly straight there, that would do it. And it's not over like restricted airspace or something. You're just flying over the U.S. That's it.
And technically, you still could do this trajectory. It's just this is going to be rounded out. You're still going to be doing this curve thing like they're saying.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You're saying if you did this on a ball?
Yeah, if you did, it's going to round out. It's basically the same thing as them doing that curve.
Yeah, if you did this on a ball, it would end up being like way longer.
Right.
Because you're flying up north and then coming back down. So yeah,
for our listeners, I hope we didn't lose you because we're looking at some visuals.
Yeah, this topic is kind of a challenging one to talk about.
So everybody, just picture the Earth laid out on a table, but it's surrounded by an ice wall. Matter of fact, where'd you find that reference? And if anybody wants to look this up,
so this is
we'll put it in the show notes.
Yeah, this is on. It's from a channel called Professor Dave Explains, and he has like a video.
Oh yeah, that guy's really good. He's got a lot of science.
He's got a video of destroying flat Earth without using science, part 3, which is called Airplanes. Yeah, so
without using science.
Yeah, so I used Eric Dubé for my 4 flat Earth arguments, and I used Professor Dave for my arguments against. And he brought up some very good points, I thought. And basically on all of the fact checking I did, there were not really any good answers to these questions that he posed. So yeah, and there's other people that do debunkings as well. I guess there was one video I saw from Eric Dubé. It was called "Why Aren't There Any Flat Earth Whistleblowers?"
I saw that too.
Yeah,
yeah.
So someone that has worked for NASA or something is like, hey, we're screwing with everything. Actually, it's flat.
Right.
Stuff like that.
So Eric was thinking that.
Eric has a
How
video
come there's
called
no
whistleblowers?
Yeah.
Why isn't there?
And apparently there was a Polish astronaut way back when that said the Earth was flat, but he's really like the only one that has ever said that. So I don't know. And in that video, he talks about like one of the guys that actually makes like the composite photos of Earth admits that every single photo of Earth that you're seeing is edited because it has to be. That's what he says. And the flat Earth community will take that and say, hey, all of these images of Earth are basically a cartoon, right? Because they're doing all these heavy modifications on it to make it look like a globe. But I think that's kind of taking his words out of context, because when he says it's edited because it has to be, I think there's, certain complications with photographing the entire Earth to make it all in focus and look the way that it does in the images that we see. So I don't really think that that's a great argument for or against flat Earth, because with photographic evidence, I don't give a lot of credence to that, because photographs can be edited and modified in any way, right?
Yeah.
So I mean,
you'd have to take it yourself,
right? Yeah. But it was just an interesting point that there really haven't been any convincing whistleblower flat Earth people.
Right. Gotcha. But what's the end game anyway?
Like, why is the Earth flat and we don't know?
Well, no. Well, because the flat earthers think that we're all deceived and confused and lied to.
Yep.
Why?
Because
Why do what does the globe have to do? If I think it's a globe, what have I done?
I heard this guy.
What have you done?
Yeah, I had somebody asked this guy I was watching on YouTube answer that, and he said, "Oh, it's because the powers that be want us to keep us all with this limited idea of how the world works and what's really out there in the great beyond, outside of those like
beyond the ice wall.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
So they want to they want you to think that the globe Earth is all there is. There's nowhere else to go.
Mm-hmm.
But flat Earth postulates that on the other side of these ice walls, there's a whole new terrain that we're unfamiliar with because there's no unauthorized, exploration out there. And, the ice wall basically keeps us all in here working like slaves, paying taxes to pedophile elites, and that's the end game.
See, that makes sense now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The Earth is flat.
I heard this guy say,
what are you talking about?
Past the ice wall, that still exist dinosaurs. I heard
That's what I was telling Mike because he said.
You heard that too?
Well, yeah, I was just saying because he said there's probably a hollow Earth out there where there's.
Yeah, we got to cover that in a future episode. The hollow Earth theory.
Yeah,
that's the Admiral Byrd Operation High Jump, where he went down there and supposedly found the entrance to Agartha, the hollow Earth.
Now I don't know. Hold on, for our listeners, I don't know if we told you because the people that believe the Earth is flat believe that we are on a flat disk and we are surrounded by a wall of ice.
right.
And that's why, because a lot of people go, why don't we fall off the Earth? Well, because of the ice wall. We're like in this. Are we in a basin? We're kind of a basin, like a disc, and all the water.
Yeah.
We're kind of in a little bowl, not a bowl.
A disc. Yeah,
a little disc, and we've got little curvatures in it. But that's where the water's being held, and we've got this little ice wall that we can't get beyond.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why the water's in here. It doesn't fall off the Earth.
Yep.
Right beyond.
So has there any evidence of the ice wall? Like photographic evidence?
Anytime you see like Antarctica, it does look like a wall because it's like 100 to 200 feet above sea level at most parts.
Okay.
So it does look like a wall, but
now is that ground or is that just ice caps?
A lot of ground and ice.
It is? Okay.
There's a lot of both. Yep.
Okay.
So
and nobody's climbed that wall and went over it over the top. They have? And what'd they see?
I mean, they're government people. So they'll say, some guy went down to Antarctica and he's like, oh yeah, guys, here's what it is. And, they'll just be like, oh, this is, a deep state puppet that, he's going to say what he's supposed to say and all these things.
But these normal explorers that like to live on the dangerous side of life, they haven't been down there to.
They haven't, and they have been escorted off the
premises. Are you serious?
Yeah, you can't just like go down there and wander around.
Why not?
It's against the rules, dude.
Okay, we got to get to the bottom of that.
Because Antarctica, do you remember that it was right after World War II, they like divided it up amongst like a ton of different countries?
Yeah.
Oh, you mean like, so there's nobody owns that?
Well, there's a theory that the Nazis had their military bases on Antarctica. And so that's kind of why the whole theory that Hitler isn't dead and he went down to Argentina because it's several reasons. And
Wait, Antarctica, that's on the bottom, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then Argentina is super close, right?
Yeah.
And they don't have like extradition, stuff like that. So he went down to, this is what they say, Hitler was in Argentina because he needed to get to his base in Antarctica.
So we got a Nazi base down there.
And Werner von Braun went down there, remember, in our...
Paperclip.
Yeah, he went down there before the Apollo missions, and that's where people thought he got like moon rocks.
That's confirmed?
Yes.
He was down there?
There's photographs of him down there.
Okay.
And he was a Nazi as well.
Yeah, he was. Absolutely.
They had pictures. They were actually, at that time, they were making pictures of the moon to send up in space for the flat.
They go up every night?
Yeah.
Okay, so we got Antarctica at the bottom. Who's on the top?
What do you mean?
Arctic.
The Arctic.
Yeah,
Okay,
the
so what
Arctic
about
Circle.
the Arctic? Has anybody been up there?
Yeah.
I don't think there's any land right on the pole,
There's a little bit.
like
but
ice.
I think there's a little bit.
Okay.
But there's like
What if we've been there? Haven't we
they're
disproved
like
this
little
ice wall?
It's like little ice islands.
But if
right?
we've been up there, haven't we disproved the ice wall?
I just had the globe up.
Right?
No, so like if you head south, meaning If
to the bottom.
If Polaris is 180 degrees at your back the whole time and you keep going, you'll always end up at Antarctica.
So
But same thing on a globe, right?
Yeah.
right there.
So if you keep heading south, you'll always hit it.
Oh yeah, that's the base, dude.
No, that's Arctic, and then
That's the
green.
Arctic.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm
Got
sorry.
little- these little
Listeners,
islands.
we're looking at a picture on Jason's phone. So sorry about that. He's showing
Google
me.
provided it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Google Earth is showing us a picture of Arctic.
Big tech.
Yep.
And what were you saying?
So yeah, if you head south, no matter where you are on Earth, with Polaris 180 degrees at your back and just keep heading south, you'll always hit Antarctica, which makes sense on the globe model. And with the flat Earth model, it gets kind of hard to understand things, right? Because even like the cardinal directions don't really make a lot of sense on the flat Earth model. So like if you're heading south from anywhere on Earth, you're going to hit the ice wall. So like south for them means like outward.
Outwards. Okay.
It's
So
yeah.
So let's just say, I'm just picture this in my mind. Let's say, based on that model you just showed me earlier, that picture of the ice wall, let's say you and I go up, we hit the ice wall, and go, okay, we're here. Mike, you stay here. I'm just going to we have two ships, we have two boats. I'm just going to go around the edge of this ice wall, and I'm going to meet you back, and I'm going to just come up behind you. I should be able to come up.
You just follow the ice wall?
Yeah, just follow it around. I'm going to make sure that's always on my right.
Yeah,
and I'm going to go all the way around. I should come up behind you eventually,
would,
right?
Yes.
Has anybody done that?
No, it would take you a really long time.
Well, we got all our life.
But that would also work on the globe model too, because you'd basically just sail around Antarctica and end up at the starting point again. So like Antarctica's here, I'm here, you go around, you'll meet me again.
Yeah, but I'm following an ice wall.
Yep.
Can I do that on the globe?
Yes.
You can?
Well, you would just be following the
You see what I'm
you would just be following the outside of Antarctica on the globe.
But there's
That's why I just feel like if I did that I would disprove if I followed that ice wall all the way around. I'm always keeping it on my right.
Uh-huh.
And I keep going around, and I would just come up behind you because I'll leave you there. You just go into hibernation, and I'll wake you up,
Uh-huh.
When I get there. So you don't, because you said it takes a long time.
It would take a long time.
Okay.
Yep.
how long would it take?
I don't know.
I'm just,
Good question. It seems like a long distance though, right?
Yeah, I don't think that long. though.
Especially on the flat Earth plane, because you're going like all the way around the entire Earth.
yeah. That's what I'm saying. I think we could disprove that if we just did that.
So
You see what I'm saying?
So like if we're both here and I just stay put,
Yeah,
then
and I just go
all
around
the
and
way
follow, and I come up behind you
you would
again.
come up behind me.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's what I want to disprove. Right, that would disprove it right there.
Let's do it.
And why haven't the flat earthers done that?
What would that
To say, hey, see?
I don't get the disprove though.
Well, I mean, I feel like I wouldn't be able to follow an ice wall all the way around till I met you again if I'm on a globe.
If you're on a globe, let's see.
You know what I'm saying?
Um,
Is my mind boggled?
No, you could still do that.
You
yeah.
could. There would
At
be
the
an ice
bottom-
wall on my right
you
the
s-
whole time.
If you were that close to Antarctica, right, and you just went along.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see what you're saying. I'm down at Antarctica on the globe.
Yeah. So if I'm here and you're like, all right, I'm just gonna keep the ice wall on
my right.
on in this case, on your
So
right.
on my right. So I'm just
so
so
you-
I'm just going around the bottom of
yeah.
So yeah,
Okay, so there's no way to really prove the ice wall doesn't exist
Not with
because I
that
can
one.
do it.
Not that one.
Because I can just go around the bottom of the earth. That's all I'm doing.
Yeah.
Wait, here's how you could disprove it: is how long it takes. Because if I'm doing around the bottom of the globe, it shouldn't take that long.
It shouldn't take
I
that
feel
long,
like the huge disc is going to take me forever to go around that ice wall.
That would be like the furthest distance you could almost travel.
You know what
on
I'm
flat
talking
Earth.
about? Because
Yeah.
I'm going all the way around the disc.
Yeah.
But at the bottom of the globe, I'm just going around this little circle thing on the bottom.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I'm not even going around the whole globe.
Yeah.
That reminds me, haven't we had people fly across the entire globe around?
We've had people like
and that's documented, right?
and sail. I watched this one documentary of this family. It was like just a modern day suburban family sail across the globe,
Mm-hmm.
and they were just regular people, and they just wanted to do it because that's the kind of family they were. They
Yeah,
like to sail.
that would terrify me.
Yeah. So
Seriously.
another thing you'll hear in the flat Earth community is like, if you're in an airplane and you're flying, you would eventually just fly off the Earth, which I think is kind
What?
of. I think that's
True because the ice wall doesn't go up that high.
And there's another theory, the Pac-Man theory, where
what?
yes, so they also believe that if that was the case, you're near a plane and you fly on the flat Earth and you fly over the
The ice wall?
and you would transport on the other side. No, I'm serious. I'm serious.
You transport to the
I
other
see what
side?
you mean.
Yes,
the
yes, yes.
Pac-Man theory, because you go off the screen and you come
Yes,
back on the other side of the
exactly.
screen.
I haven't heard that.
Yeah.
Wait, have you played Pac-Man?
Yeah.
I'm going to slap you.
No, I have.
Oh, you have? Okay.
Yeah.
So you've
I
been
know
off
exactly
the
what it is.
screen.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
I know
You looked
exactly-
a little confused.
No, because I never heard that before.
Yeah. When we get off, I'll play the clip of this guy saying.
and we could
Okay.
play Pac-Man.
Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, that might be.
Oh, my gosh.
That might be some of the different theories within the.
Within the flat,
yeah,
there's a
'cause-
portal.
Yeah, because I know Eric Dubé says the Flat Earth Society is controlled opposition. They're like, if you Google Flat Earth, they're like top page, and that's why he's like, yeah, when someone says do their own research on Flat Earth, like he doesn't like that because they're like the first hit.
Well, yeah, you're right. It is, because that's what I Googled, and I found all these websites about 7 ways to prove the Earth's round. And I just went down. That's a good point, but the only way to disprove that is get in a plane and go to the ice wall and see if you come back on the other side. You should be able to see some kind of force field you go through, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because how could you do that unless there's some kind of, experimental force field wall that transports you to the other side of the flat
Yeah.
Yep.
Earth?
Or it could be, unexplored land that they don't want us to know about. That
Here's the way you could tell. Soon as you cross and you're like looking down at the plane, you get so low to the ice wall. You cross over to the ice wall, then all of a sudden there's water under you again. You just know you crossed through.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Because if the ice wall's there, what's beyond the ice wall?
that's
Space?
that's the big question.
Or is there a bunch of how much land is beyond the ice? Well, we don't know that.
We're
do
not
we?
sure. Yeah, we don't know.
Man.
That's where the Nephilim are, and
yeah,
a whole
and
bunch-
then the dinosaurs.
yeah, and dinosaurs and things like that.
Eventually, you'd have to go somewhere you fall off, especially if you climb up on top of the ice wall.
Are dinosaurs real? I mean, were they?
That's another episode for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are dinosaurs real?
Were they real?
Well, I don't know. I wasn't there.
Were they real?
I don't know. I just got bones.
I don't know.
Not even a
Look
complete skeleton, I don't think.
That's correct. Yeah. So,
Well, I heard that dinosaurs that they put together, they really don't look like that. They're just putting stuff together
They look like
because they don't know, because nobody was there. It's called observational science.
yeah.
If you weren't there, it's a theory.
yeah. How would two stegosauruses mate? Have you seen those? They have the spines all over their back.
Maybe they like can make them flop over.
Like,
Or
well-
they could be asexual.
Maybe. I don't
That's true. They did it in Jurassic Park.
So I know what happened. There was a government that was putting stuff into the water that was turning them.
Oh, boy.
Asexual.
Here we
Oh,
go
like the
again.
frogs.
Like the
there
frogs.
are some frogs that can
Yeah,
do
there
that.
are. There are. Yep.
What about the Black Widow though? That kills her mates.
Yep.
Oh,
That's
true.
weird.
Yeah. I think they have to do that for some reason. It's like necessary
Because-
for the eggs to survive or something.
Yeah, because the man's always going to destroy things.
I guess.
And Black Widows always mate with white widows.
Really?
Yeah, that's why they destroy the white men.
Oh, boy.
That's another show.
All right, dude.
Well,
We
that's
got
going to
the
do it for
Freemasons.
Flat Earth. I think we got to the bottom of that. It is a globe, in my opinion.
In my opinion as well.
That's right. Hey, guys, Merry Christmas. I know this is probably past Christmas, but tune in next week. You might hear Mike say,
Merry Christmas.
oh, my gosh, that's so lame.
Dude.